I just keep losing my train of thought. Like, I know the story, but I'm having a really hard time retelling it. So basically, this guy's name is Liam, and I had a class with him. The class I had with him was moving image. It was like an elective I had to take for college. Like, I don't know, the first 2 years I had to take a lot of electives, and that was like one of my options, and I just took it because it's basically like watching movies and analyzing them and stuff, and I thought it'd be fun. Ended up hating that class, barely got a B. Terrible. But he's a film major, so he was in there. Liberal arts major, should have been my first red flag. But this is peak hoe era of my sophomore year. And by the way, I wasn't trying to be a hoe. I did want a relationship, but it just ended up always being a hookup and only a hookup and nothing more. So, but nonetheless, we have class together, but we don't talk at all in class. But like, it's also a pretty big class. Like, it's basically a mini movie theater. Like, it has the movie theater seats, a giant projector screen, like all that stuff. But we don't talk in there at all. So one way or another, I don't know if it was the public school Snap story or if it was from suggestions, but one of us adds each other on Snapchat, and I realize who he is, and I start snapping him because, like, he's cute, you know, and so we start snapping, and eventually I'm like, I'll be bold, because I think he complimented me or something. Like, he was giving flirty vibes, so I was like, we should hang and drink sometime, like, that's fun, everybody in college loves to drink, I know he'd be down, and he was down. So I lived a little bit away. Like, I live on campus, he lives on campus, but we lived in two different areas of campus. Like, he was in the dorms and I'm in the apartments. But I pick him up and we go get drinks together. So, like, pick out what drinks we want to drink. I pay for them. And we bring them back to my place and we're like hanging out, sipping on drinks, talking about stories. I already knew the type of music. I could tell by his vibe what type of music he'd like. So I played it in the car and he's like, wow, your music taste is so good. And like, yes, that is my music taste, but it's only one little genre of it. But like, I knew what he liked. And so we were listening to that night. And then we're like talking about a lot of stuff and he starts flirting and then he starts getting a little, like, we're like laying on my floor at one point, like talking. I don't know. But eventually he like starts being extra flirty, extra touchative, whatever. And he's like starting to initiate stuff. He's kissing me, whatever, you know. We don't get there though. But I have Deftones playing. And like, I like Deftones. You know, it was the fall era, time for Deftones music. And all of a sudden he stops. Like mid whatever he was doing, he just stops. And I'm like, are you good? Like, we can stop, like, that's fine, but are you good? And he's like, I'm sorry, but that song just made me think of my ex. And I was like, oh, we can skip it, I'll skip it. Like, I thought maybe he just didn't want to hear that song and we were gonna move back on. But he's like, yeah, maybe, like, let's stop. And I'm like, okay, that's also fine. Like, sorry for throwing off the vibe off the Deftones music. Like, I didn't know one specific song. Like, why are you listening to the music anyway? I don't know. But I didn't think of his ex, though. So now we're just laying next to each other. And, like, I'm, like, not touching him in a weird way, but like, I'm like, you know, leaning on him a little. And then I'm like, do you not want me to touch you? And he's like, not really. And I was like, okay. And so like, I'm just awkward. I'm like, oh, I feel so bad. Like, I don't know what to do. And then he's like, honestly, I kind of want to call her. I'm like, your ex? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Like, and then he tries to talk about her a little bit. And eventually he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to leave and go call her. What? Okay, bye, I guess. So he leaves and presumably calls his ex. So yeah, and that literally made me feel so disgusting, because how you can be touching up all on me and then you hear a Deftones song and now you gotta go call your ex. You're walking back home from my place calling your ex. So yeah, and then this was like beginning of the semester. Not the beginning, it was like early semester. So I have class with him until December. So I get to see him all the time. And then of course, turns out the group I party with, he also ends up partying with, and eventually I have a party at my place and he's there. And I'm too nice to kick him out, so I let him stay. But I was silently judging him the whole time. And you know what? He ended up being low-key cringe, and he lost his inhaler that night. So, like, that's the last thing he texted me was asking if I saw an inhaler. And that was like months later. But I told like one of his friends about it because we were hanging out before they all got there. And I remember some of his friends or something were like, oh yeah, something. They were just like talking about his relationship with his ex. I don't know. Weird situation. Not for me. So yeah, that's my story. Liam, thank you for making me feel so disgusting. I'm not gonna lie, now that I'm thinking more about it, that was like a really dark time. Like, I don't know why, but that one thing made my mental health so bad. I literally had to go sit in the woods. Like, just went into a wooded area, sat on a sewer pipe thing, drainage pipe, and was like sobbing and bawling. It was so bad. I don't know why. Maybe I was a little dramatic, but that like really hurt me so bad. So yeah. But basically right now I'm about to start working on a little Canva design. I'm making a little Galentine's Day party poster thing. I think it'd be really fun to have a cute little Galentine's Day event with like brunch maybe with some friends. So I'm working on that right now. Gotta lift up my spirits after that terrible story. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Bye.